Alrighty, and now to cap off the show, we're going to review the new Scream film. Which, Darius, is this Scream 5 technically, or 8, or whatever the fuck it is?
This
Is
is
this the fifth one?
technically, I believe, it's Scream 5, 2022.
Okay,
The fifth
got it. Okay,
one, if I remember
okay,
correctly. And it's a long time
all right.
coming.
Yep. 25 years after the events of the original Scream, a new Ghostface murderer emerges and must be stopped by a new generation of Woodsboro residents. And again, I come from a very, I think it's safe to say, unique point of view, weird point of view, because believe it or not, I've never actually seen the original. And even though I've never seen the original, I was still able to appreciate certain references and the fact that they were making certain references because I did catch on to certain things that they were doing. And I'm like, okay, if I was a bigger fan of Scream and if I had seen the original, I'd appreciate this more, if that makes sense.
Understandable. I mean, the Scream was always just that weird movie franchise that surprisingly has a fan base because it's a slasher film, that's what it is. But I guess they just amplified a lot of things. I guess a part of me hoped it really did something different and really took a spin on its own head, but I didn't feel like it did to a certain extent. And it's just, for me, I was laughing a good chunk of the time where I didn't think I
Mm-hmm.
should because of just how because there were tense moments. I did feel some of them, and they did subvert
Yep.
some of my expectations. Like the tension, I thought was really well done in certain scenes, but again, it always comes down to these type of films how dumb these characters can be.
Yep. Yeah. And again, I think that's part of it too, because again, one of the things, or really the best part about this film, again, I haven't seen the other ones, is just like how meta and self aware it is to the point where it feels
Mhm.
like a comedy. Like it's skewering horror movie tropes, right?
Yeah.
By, I guess, putting them on full display. Because I remember there was one character in particular who, again, there's a killer on the loose. It's very obvious that there's a killer nearby, and he just goes out by himself. He goes out by himself. And I'm just like, I'm not rooting for you at all. I'm not rooting for you
Exactly.
at all.
It's like,
You're doing
no.
this to yourself. And again, it was just so meta and so self aware to the point where it almost felt like a comedy. You know what I mean? Like it was making
Yeah.
fun of it, even though I don't think that the comedy aspect was like the main priority of this film. But at the same time, it almost felt like it was trying to be a comedy with how much it was making fun of itself, basically, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it was, and that's one of the things. Again, this is a weird movie for me because I remember out of the theater, and I was talking, I was like, wow, I really wish I saw this before we did the worst movies of 2021. And I wish it came out 2021 just so I could put this movie in it. But at the same time, it's weird because it's like I did have some enjoyment with it, mainly
Honestly,
because
so did I.
these characters were stupid, and I was like, I feel nothing. I love this. But
And again, it's funny. It's funny too because you know it's weird. Like I didn't think I'd enjoy this movie as much as I did because again, I'd never seen the original, and there's definitely things in this movie that you can make fun of. But I'm like, okay, is that part of the point of it all?
yeah,
I mostly feel like it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel.
yeah, and there are even some dialogue in it that I just bursted out laughing, especially afterwards. And I was like, "Yep, I think they reign true on their own movie and the quality of their own movie." But
And it's funny that you mentioned that too, because that dialogue, right? Whether it's some of that dialogue or, some of the acting that felt a little bit over the top, again, I'm like, is that on purpose? That's what I'm wondering.
yeah, I think so because that's how the original Screams kind of felt too. That it was just this crazy slasher that is just meant to be, I guess, a bit over the top. So in that regard, they stay true to what Scream is.
Yeah.
But I guess for me as a horror fan, I kind of just expected and wanted more. And I guess it's that thing where I think my interest in horror is changing greatly. Whereas when I see something like Scream, I'm just like, this isn't horror. But it's like I get it though. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
get it. But you could have done more. I think that's the big thing for me.
Mm. It's interesting too, like what I say, or when they talk, but one of the things that they make fun of in the movie was, right, is like the whole, this isn't too much of a spoil, like the whole requel idea, right? Like, not just a sequel or a reboot, like it's a sequel where they have multiple generations of characters working together. And I generally speaking, I do like when they do that in films. I really do like that. I like the idea of, again, passing the torch, which again is another thing that they make fun of in the film, but I do generally like that concept, the idea of handing something down, like a responsibility down from one generation to the next. I generally love when they do that. And I really like how in this movie, like they kind of, pick apart and make fun of that idea too. Now, Darius, as someone who actually saw the original movie and enjoyed it as much as you've told me that you have, did you appreciate like the callbacks to the original film?
I did, honestly. Seeing some of the characters, I was like, I remember you. I know what you did. And yeah, I like some of the revelations with even some of the newer characters and how they're connected to the original. I did actually like that because I felt that was the new I wanted. But at the same time, I just wanted more of that instead of just we're going back to like this nostalgia feeling of what Scream is and everything, instead of actually trying to do something new or at least amplify it. So it's the smaller things I did enjoy. We all know Dewey's in it. The original cast, absolutely
Monica
great.
Geller.
Yeah, and and it's like I like them. I remember them. It's been a while since I've seen the original Scream and the other ones, but there are things where it's like when you see them, you remember what happens and everything. And I was like, yeah, this is bringing back some good fun memories. Again, it's a weird movie because it's like I didn't like it, but at the same time I did because of just the character actions and how stupid it was.
Yeah. So overall, like I said, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Like, I thought about reviewing this. I'm like, all right, whatever. A lot of people are going to see this. Let's talk about it on the show. Why not? I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. So this, honestly, for me personally, was a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
Yeah. So for all you guys, did you guys actually get a chance to watch Scream? And again, what did you think of it? Does it live up to the original film? Do you feel like this had to be done? Did you like the idea of them skewering certain horror concepts and making fun of itself, essentially? Leave your thoughts in that comment section. And just like that, the show is done. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications, whether you're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, and more. And if you want to help out the show, because we hope that you enjoyed this episode today, give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you can, and follow our social media pages that are listed in the description. And we'll see you next week.
Scream was stupid.